Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor podcast.
Why don't we get into what we like to do around here? You know what I'm saying?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Because it's that time to talk about Bachelor stuff on our show. And reality TV. Because this show provides all the Bachelor and reality TV drama you've been missing in the off season of The Bachelor, which, you know, we usually recap on this show. But before we get talking about the Bachelor Nation stuff and reality TV, YouTube, I'm going to need you to go ahead, subscribe, smash that thumbs up button, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop new Bachelor content just like this. And if you just did, oh man, what? Huge shout out to you. Ooh, air horns for you. You know, this is that time where we have to shout out our comment crew, and those are the people leaving comments in our videos below every time. We got the Nancy Drew crew, the OG crew, Catherine Ann, Chelsea Allen, Kathleen Kent, Marion SP. We got Marty back. Love you, Mom. And then we got returning Chasten Siegel. You know, so you want a shout out like this, like all you got to do is leave a comment on our video, join the conversation, join the future Bachelor family, because this is where it's at. We, you know, small but mighty team of people just growing and growing each week. So, you know, we'd love to have you along for the ride. You know, we're starting a new segment here for comment of the week. And, you know, this one just kind of goes out to Chasten because she left such a detailed comment, which I'll read right now and we can discuss a little bit. You know, so she says, "Thank you so much for the shout out. You know, I'm so happy and excited to be here." That's just so sweet. We're excited and happy for you as well, Chasten.
Oh, yeah.
She's in the camp of not a huge fan of April Fools. So I understand that completely. It's just like, come on. Yeah, I guess that's the whole point of it. It's just like any other day, but you get to trick people and you get to right in their face. So I'm right there with you. But let's get into her comment a little bit. She says, "I almost feel bad for Charity. If I were her, I would be asking myself, am I Bachelorette because they like me, or am I damage control for the show's revision of its history with racial issues? It wouldn't make me feel good. I would feel like I'm being made an example out of. It's tough waters to tread for sure. That's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation if I've ever seen one. I hope she has a wonderful season and finds true love, though. Thanks for sharing, and thanks again for the shout out." Yeah, what a comment.
We love it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the discussion we had on our episode last week about, you know, the stuff that was happening with Mike Fleiss. I was, you know, it's interesting that we actually pulled this, because now that I'm thinking of it, I was seeing news of, you know, Charity's going to be the fourth Bachelorette, Black Bachelorette that we've had in franchise history.
Rachel Lindsay, Tayshia, and then Michelle, and then now Charity.
Yeah, so Michelle had released, I think she had been on a podcast talking about how she's like, we need to address these like concerns that I'm having, or otherwise like I'm out, like, you know, it has to be. And I think maybe that might have been part of the, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back of them addressing it in the finale of The Bachelor this past season. And I, you know, it's just like, I don't want to take away from Charity being picked, because she's obviously a great pick to be the Bachelorette.
Right. She's beautiful. She's real.
Yeah. She
honestly kind of got the short end of the stick during a lot of Zach's season, just with how people treated her.
Sure. So I don't know. I just think it's like we said in the title of last week's episode. What was it? It just convenient timing.
Convenient timing. And I mean, I think I commented this back to Chasten on YouTube. So, you know, if you guys comment there, your girl usually replies to stuff.
Hell yeah.
But I commented back to her that like Rachel Lindsay has come out saying similar things, same as Tayshia, and Tayshia maybe not as much, but Michelle definitely too. But how they've all kind of said something around the lines of like how they felt like, you know, it was very much like a damned if you do, damned if you don't, because they wanted to, be able to show their love journeys, do whatever, but also like the spotlight and like the harshness of everything was way, way tougher on them. And like, I mean, they read through some of like the horrible, like tweets and things like that some of these like different Black women who have been on the show have gotten. And it's appalling, honestly. So yeah. I definitely know that they all have had similar struggles with their own seasons. So I just hope, And
yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were
you saying? No. And then Charity's coming. She's coming from, Georgia, a couple, I think like an hour or so outside of Atlanta, or a couple hours. And Georgia, is a southern state. So I just wonder how, some of that might affect it with just the general audience and everything like that. So just a lot of factors at play.
I know I'll probably enjoy this season. And we're right there with you, Chastin, with hoping she has a great season and finds true love. So thanks again for leaving that comment. And you could be comment of the week as well. Just, put your thoughts down below. And if it's like enough for us to want to discuss on the show, give us something, a topic to kind of discuss like this. I liked how we did this,
Me too.
So shout out to y'all. Another little housekeeping thing before we get into all the other stuff. Again, just make sure you're checking out our podcasts. This is only part of our show. Each week we drop a weekly podcast. If you're on for YouTube purposes, we just kind of, do the Bachelor stuff because that's our niche. But the show has a bunch of other stuff like pop culture news. What are we giving them a little bit of for quick hits and stuff this week?
Yeah, this week, like a tease is we're going to be talking about, Taylor Swift's breakup. We're going to be talking about some Kardashian-Jenner, news with a couple of the sisters. And, Millie Bobby Brown, who's also in the news for her engagement. So.
Yeah. So we're going to, have just talk about that a little bit. So if that's the type of stuff you're into, we're into as well. Just check out the show wherever you listen to podcasts. You could be listening at work, on your drive to work, from wherever you're going, on a trip with friends, when you put down a book, whatever you're doing, just listen to us. Find us there. So yeah, check us out. Well, with all that out of the way, V, what do we got this week with some Bachelor Nation news and also some drama?
Yes. So Madi Prewett's been getting clowned on the internet, which, it's easy to clown on her, especially when she's trying to make, she's feeding the capitalistic machine with her faith, in the sense that she's teamed up with Cupshe, which is a fast fashion brand, to do a modest like swimsuit, and then other, a lot of her other things are all like engagement/wedding season related clothing. So a lot of like rompers, bathing suits, dresses, all about like, when you're in that engagement season of your life. And then the bathing suits are mostly, she, says how it's really important to her with her faith to be modest and whatever. But like the main photo that we see of her in one of these bathing suits is like a very typical bathing suit that you would find anywhere right now. Like where it's a pretty typical bikini bottom with a little like a heart ring cutout thing in the typical like triangle halter top, little heart ring in the center. Like it's just, to me, it feels a little like, I don't know. It just feels a little weird to me for someone to like try to make monetary gains off of this whole idea of faithful modesty and then like not also. It's just, get your bag, girl. You married like a billionaire, but get your bag. So, it's just interesting, feels strange. But, I'm sure she's got a good audience that's going to be buying her shit. So
yeah,
good
definitely.
For her, I guess.
I kind of look at it like a lot of, when people want to start a clothing brand, like their first stuff is not usually like great. Like they're just kind of the basics, because it's like you're getting, this from that. It's not like you're really like Rihanna or like Kylie Jenner or something like Kim Kardashian, where you get to like pick out the fabrics and, you know, working with all these different designers from all around the world or something.
Right.
So, you know, you're right. I think she does have an audience that's going to definitely like, you know, pay for this type of stuff, you know, just to support. It's a strong audience, that's for sure. So yeah, I mean, you know, good for her. We'll see where it takes her. What else we got going on in the rumor mill?
So Tayshia Adams, as we were talking about earlier, one of our former Bachelorette leads, who, you know, is no longer with her winner of her season, sparked some rumors of romance with a Bravo celebrity, as I said in the opening, Luke Goldbrinson, who is known for being on Summer House. There was a photo that has now since been deleted that was shared by Summer House star Lindsay Hubbard, who it was like them from Easter Sunday, like the Easter Sunday crew, she said. And in that picture at the end of it was Luke standing behind Tayshia and like holding her hands, kind of like, you know, where you do hand on top of hands when you're like behind somebody, and like their little fingers were interlaced like on her hip in this photo. And then everybody was freaking out to the point where Lindsay deleted the photo and then reposted it, cropping them out completely because they were on the end, luckily. But I don't know. Like, I don't know what that says about Lindsay for doing that. I don't know if it was because they didn't want shit to come out soon or what came into all of that. But Luke has kind of made his way around. I think he went on a couple of dates with some other fellow, like I think a Real Housewives star and things like that. But now, you know, he's a good-looking guy, and he's making his way around the reality TV world, it seems to be. So I wonder. I mean,
if Tayshia is a hot commodity.
She's a hottie for sure.
I mean, she's a hottie, but I think like she's like done well. You know, she's one of. It's just interesting to see what like we talked about earlier. You know, what different contestants leads. Turn leads will do with their post, you know, show life. And she's like kind of like chosen to ride the wave of you know what she came from as far as, you know, being on the Bachelorette and all that, like, you know, she went on to host a season with Caitlyn and then, you know, she just seems like someone that's going to be around for a while. Like, yeah,
she does like other brand partnerships. She's like pretty well into like, I think some of this like, you know, pop culture reporting kind of stuff too now, where she's like helped like run red carpet kind of reporting and other different things. So I think she's definitely, her and Rachel Lindsay both have kind of done similar things in that sphere. But I think, you know, she's definitely running in the same circles as some of these folks, and Luke is not really based in New York. I guess he is now. I thought he moved back to Minnesota, but I guess he's mostly based in New York. And then she's based in New York now. So I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. What else we got?
Yeah, so Grocery Store Joe and Serena have come out with more details of their wedding that's happening this fall, I believe September. It's going to be in Charleston. Charleston, I feel like, is a popular
Aren't they already married, though? Are you talking about like an actual wedding?
Yes, their actual wedding. Okay. Yes. Technically, they got married in the courthouse. Yeah. Yes, you are correct. I think they said it's going to be like maybe like 200-ish people. It's going to have like, you know, Wells, Sarah Hyland, a couple other folks from, you know, main players, especially like VIP players from the seasons. And I just want to know if they're going to have some good Italian food because, you know, that is Joe's vibe. But Charleston, I mean, because I don't remember, Serena's from Canada, isn't she?
I'm not sure. But, I mean, Charleston is a beautiful place.
It's beautiful.
Wouldn't mind getting married there. Yeah, so anything else going on in Bachelor Nation?
Yeah, this is horrifying news. So a former contestant from Katie Thurston's seasons, Joshua Tylerbest, he's 27. He has been arrested in Florida on 15 possession of child sexual abuse material charges. What? Horrifying. I guess There's an investigation that was opened.
Right?
Huh?
He made it pretty far on her season, right?
He made it at least, I think he made it like 4 or 5 weeks. So he made it like halfway through, which
he got some screen time.
Yeah, he got some screen time. I guess he was released after posting a $5,000 surety bond, and he has entered a plea of not guilty earlier this month and is due back in court in June. And his Instagram account appears to be deleted. Yeah, probably for the best.
Yeah.
Steer clear.
I mean, I don't know how you can really prevent stuff like getting people like that on the show. There's only so much you can do to kind of like do some background checks on these people, like you know.
Yeah.
So that's very crazy to hear. Well, let's pivot into outside of Bachelor Nation into some other reality TV stuff that's been going on. I'm a huge fan of Vanderpump Rules. I'm going to probably sit here and binge the season here soon, the newest season, because
the newest one, yeah.
Obviously it's gotten wild. Tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in the past couple of weeks because I feel like it's crazy that the season is like out right now because we're just teasing. We're just waiting for them to actually show us like Scandoval, as we've been calling it on the internet. And as we talked about probably a couple weeks back about the whole, how it has come out that Tom Sandoval and Rachel Weisz, I believe it's her last name or something like that, have been having an affair, sexual and supposedly romantic in nature for at least the past 7 months, which like now as you're watching with that information, you're watching some of these newer episodes and like, you're just seeing the way that like they interact and stuff. Like I've been listening to a lot of the different podcasts, Katie's podcast. I listened to, or she went on Nick Viall's. I listened to her on there. Kristen Doty went on Nick Viall's, and then Kristen has had, Peter.
Wait, is Kristen Doty still on the show, or is she just like hang out with them? She's not still on the show, is she?
No, but she's good friends with all of them. Yeah. But so she's probably the only one that can really say as much because like she doesn't have a contract to deal with. Mm-hmm. And she's also Tom Sandoval's ex. Yeah, she is, and like
and they essentially I mean, if you think about it, like. Kind of like what he did to her with Ariana, like he kind of like jumped ship from her to Ariana, so now he's jumping ship from Ariana to
I know
this. Wow, it's very incestual over there.
She predicted it, so.
And it's so funny too because like he used to like get on Jax so much, and now he's like become the Jax.
I know. You know what's bad when Jax has been saying stuff like on the internet, being all like, and Jax sounds like the voice of reason. Like Jax was probably the most hated person in like reality television for a good while there, just especially in that sphere. Like I was listening to when Kristen Doty was on Nick Viall's podcast. He talked about how he like when he was right during his like press stint when he was the lead of Bachelor, Nick refused to like take pictures of Jax at some event that he was at. He took a picture with Brittany, but then like he knew that Jax was a bad dude, or like was perceived as being like really bad, especially in the reality world. So he was like, I'm not gonna take a picture with him because whatever. And he's like, now I wish He's like, I think I have some pictures with me and Tom Sandoval, and I wish I didn't have those.
Well, that's because Nick is a loser. But
I mean, well,
and honestly, it's just kind of like the pot calling the kettle black or some whatever they say, because people look at Nick like he's a Jax. So I think he definitely has some Jax tendencies. But it's so I feel like everything's been unfolding and you're like watching this season as it's going on, because right now like in this season you're just seeing more of like Katie blowing up at Raquel for how Raquel has made moves or tried to make out with or like did or kissed Schwartz and stuff like that amidst them, Katie and Schwartz separating, and it's crazy that potentially I guess Schwartz said in recent things that he didn't know about anything happening with Raquel and Tom Sandoval until like a month, until like
it was all released to the public or was found out to the public. But there's just some things that I guess he was just on What Happens Live the other day, and he was definitely not doing a good job. Was not relying on his press training or anything, because I guess he called his ex-wife Katie Maloney a monster. He described, Sandoval and Raquel Levis's post-affair relationship as toxic. Yeah, no shit, that's crazy. And then he was also encouraging people to give Sandoval a hug if they saw him in the streets.
Those two are the bestest of friends, if you ever
Frick
seen them.
and frack.
Plus,
and I think that
they also have multiple businesses named after themselves. So
I know. Well, I think Schwartz is just kind of an idiot. Like, I think he's just like.
I used to love watching him.
He's a doting puppy. He's like the puppy, like at Tom Sandoval's like little heels. He's like, sure, well, you go around the country playing in your stupid cover band. I'll take care of this entire business all by myself. Meanwhile, as it destroys my relationship with my now ex-wife. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anything else in reality TV stuff?
Yes, so I am still behind on Love is Blind. I am sorry.
No, it's all
right. But I have seen the first 2 episodes, so I do know of, the falling asleep.
The characters. You know the characters. And obviously now
I know the players.
Yeah. And now you also know, you've probably been hearing stuff that are coming out about each of the contestants.
Yeah. I mean, and I want to try to see if I can catch up in the next couple of days, because Love is Blind 4 will be the first live reunion on Netflix. And it's this week. And so what you can do is you'll be able to go on Netflix. And I think it's 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And you'll be able to 10 minutes prior, you'll be able to see it. It'll be on your screen, and you'll be able to click enter live event, and you'll be in the lobby for that 10 minutes.
They did the live event with the Chris Rock special a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
So they're trying some different things. I mean, they didn't binge the whole season of this season of Love is Blind. They releasing 3 episodes at a time. Which I think is smart, because it's like binging, but then it leaves you on a cliffhanger wanting more. So it's just kind of a smart thing. I wonder if they'll just do that for a lot of things moving forward. But yeah, so anything else from Love is Blind world?
Yeah. Bartise posted on Friday, this past Friday, that shocked a lot of people, that he has a baby boy. He said, I might have been the villain on TV, but I'm going to be the hero for him. And he's meet my little man. And
that means within the last 9 months, he was on the perfect match.
Well, people think that was, I think, filmed back in March of 2022.
That's a long time. A year. That's weird that it would take such a long time for them to release it.
Right. Well, I mean, the first Love is Blind, they released it probably nearly 2 years later. So I feel a lot of these, I think only recently have they gotten pretty quick at filming, releasing, because usually I think that's kind of how they used to do it. But yeah, so people I think that the mother of his son is this woman named Olivia Gross. She's 25. Don't know who she is. Nobody really does. Because he didn't really publicly reveal who she was or anything. Just people are able to snoop. But I guess the baby was born on December 27th. So.
Nice. Well, congrats to him. So that's just kind of what we're doing here in the off season. We're bringing you guys a whole bunch of reality TV stuff. I'm figuring if you watch The Bachelor like us, you might be watching similar shows like us, like Love Is Blind or Vanderpump. I don't know. Maybe do a lot of people watch Vanderpump Rules anymore?
I think everybody's going back to watch it. I had never watched it like all the way through, but I think I'm gonna go back and watch the whole.
I always thought it was so entertaining. So
it's honestly, and how they did the transition from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills to it, like they literally, it was like how they like did the transition into the show was revolutionary.
What do you mean? Like it was like seamless?
Yep, they literally like went from Sheena talking to Brandy, who is one of the former Real Housewives.
Oh, it's genius stuff. But Bravo does stuff like that, because you brought up the Summer House thing, and they've done that before, where they've gone from a Vanderpump Rules episode into the first episode of like Summer House. So yeah, I love those type of things. They're just like, I love a good universe. Yeah, Bravo, and it's just universe. Like, wait, did the other show start? Like, it reminds me of when they came out with Fear the Walking Dead, when they crossed over the character of Morgan from Walking Dead. It was like the first part of Fear the Walking Dead was like an episode of The Walking Dead. So you saw like Rick in Fear the Walking Dead for that one episode, because it was like transitioning Morgan's, like how he was getting to the other show. I love stuff like that. So
you do.
So yeah, I mean, I think, and also I just like how they've been able to evolve the show and keep it interesting, from most of the OG cast not even on there anymore to like, still keeping the drama going. Everyone's still like in the same friend group and stuff. Like no one moves on, and they all still work at that restaurant. Lisa
some
Vanderpump.
of them do, and then some of them have started their own restaurants under the Vanderpump universe, if you will. And I think what made it so good is that they all really did start as friends, all working together at that restaurant, like legitimately, and like they started from like the ground up to now being like Bravo celebrities. So I think that's what's made it such a successful and like realistic reality show.
For sure. Well, thank you guys. Let us know what you think of some of the topics we touched on. Like if there's any other shows that you might be interested in us watching, that we might also be watching, that we could talk about. Are you a Vanderpump Rules fan? Are you into those Bravo shows? Are you going to be buying one of Madi Prewett's new modest bathing suits? Are you invited to Grocery Store Joe and Serena's wedding in Charleston? Let us know.
We'll drive on down.
Yeah, we'll love to interview you.
Or over. Whatever way.
Wherever you're at. But leave a comment so we can shout you on the next episode, and we will be keeping the show going. So we'll see you next week.
Future Bachelor Podcast.